Hey there, everyone. We made it. We made it to the last match in an exciting kind of sequence of events. Eric got his revenge against Remy in the third game between them and went onward to this match here. Alexander Chi, unfortunately, losing to our new pro, Kevin Yang. And yeah, this is it. This is now the final best of three. We're going to be. Seeing at least two more games, maybe three, and it's just super exciting. Especially, it'll be interesting to see these two-player styles kind of going up against each other, because of course Alex is playing so incredibly well and kind of solidly, and then Eric, comeback king, playing the craziest games I've ever seen, making this whole stream super exciting. Um, he is been incredible. So, but I'll let the meat and potatoes of this whole conversation happen between our two commentators today. We got on James Sedgwick below me here. He's the president of the Canadian Go Association and also on the board, I believe, for the NAGF. And replacing me shortly will be Nick Prince, another strong Canadian Go player, and also, I believe, the vice president of the Canadian Go Association and another board member of the NAGF. So, really kind of some awesome guests today for this match. I'm excited to have you both on. Thank you for coming out.
Pleasure to be here, Devin. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. All right. So whenever
Yeah.
Javier wants, he can replace me, but I'll let you guys dive in. So, what are you gonna say, James?
Yeah, I've been really looking forward to this game, and I've been quite astounded by Eric's ability to make some quite hopeless-looking games come to life for him.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be very interesting to see if he can work any of that magic against Alex. There's been a whole bunch of times where Alex has the choice of choosing a difficult variation or a steady variation, and he seems to his style is to choose the steady approach. And game one, maybe it'll tell us something about whether this Eric magic can continue. So everything here is so far is Joseki. Nick, are you with me?
I'm on now. Yep, I can see everything.
Yeah, this shape at the top, um, with this. I believe I saw this once already from Alex's tournament. The games are starting to blur together in my memory, but I believe he played this shape somewhere in the preliminary rounds. I hadn't seen it before, but it's obviously natural to develop the top, and it makes getting the Joseki follow up move here look very urgent to get the F16 move to be an effective development move.
Right. Without that, they're pretty far away. You got the fourth line stone and the second line stone. That's a big looking gap.
Yeah, and it's more that if White gets to press at N17 or something, that there won't be any reason to have played a fourth line stone. The top area will become small.
Right.
So in the game, Black indeed rushed to get that point. And continuing on the left side, as White did, is always a very important Joseki follow up move. And this is sort of trying to substitute for a normal White extension around this point, which might feel a little soft.
And you would view this stone that he just played more important than the right side. That right side looks wide open.
Yeah, usually the white shape in the top right can be considered fairly settled. So White has always got these sente in the back of mind. They can aim at choosing this ko for flexibility, or it just helps them build shape. So it's not so easy to attack those three stones. A black move here also looks very appealing. because the white won't want to add a move to defend the left side. It'll become inefficient. But a black follow-up attack may be fairly painful there also. So that move could become hard to answer. A similar jump here is also appealing for black. White can press with A and limit how much the top side expands. And if black jumps at the B point, those 3 stones are they can eventually come under significant pressure. So I would not feel very confident which I would choose. Let's take a peek here. If I save this SGF file and see which Catago thinks is the biggest point of these. I suspect the answer will be all of them are quite close. Yes, okay, so we do have Alex chose the move I was looking at there with F14.
And white decided to answer, didn't just leave it.
Yes, which looks to me like it's a little painful for white to answer, but what happened here?
Yeah, you're right, Kerbata. It does look like they're moving pretty quick so far. I wonder if they've practiced these openings here.
Well, the first moves are all standard Joseki. So
what was the first point at which it got off standard? I've never seen the shape on the left. This the jump and then the attachment.
Sorry, I'm getting lost in my windows. So I would have said this black choice here is it's certainly a choice in that corner, but the combination between the top right and the top left corner is where things are slightly unusual, aside from the one time this tournament.
Right.
And I'm having trouble with the OGS branches here. So they did play this what's going on here?
I think you're on your branch.
I can't find the sync. Should tell me. Okay. Yes. I don't know why the SGF file. Try again to. Okay. There we go. So I haven't changed the Comey settings here. So, but yeah, anyway, white starts as a little bit favorable, and to here, nothing's changed.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can see the blue move is showing up as a pincer on the right side of the 3 stones, but the score differential is favoring Alex's move. I'm not running too high powered a computer today, so the playouts are a bit slow.
Okay.
But those, when it's a 1/10 of a point difference, they're both plausible.
Yeah.
So I would say Catago wants to ask black at the top first. You can see my move here. it's not necessarily that depending on what black chooses, I think they may um, leave this stone, but um, yeah, let's go back to the
See, that's
so
sort of attacking the vulnerability, or maybe
yeah,
pointing at the vulnerability in that knight's move there.
if if black answers passively, this can be useful for whatever reducing move white plays later.
Right.
And if it makes the these stones become a little lighter, that black has already invested a move at the top there to protect that weakness.
Hmm.
So um, Catago would like to ask first what um, what they will do.
Okay.
Uh,
And is this Nobi fairly standard here? I have a natural instinct to Hane, but
yeah, it is fairly standard here. The problem with Hane, if let's put in a variation, if even it just goes like this, you still need to play this move, and now white has you fixed white's cutting point at A.
hmm.
So you don't need to try and build on the ninth line or something. If you're building territory here successfully on the sixth line, black is happy enough, and white doesn't want to provide any momentum black doesn't want to provide any momentum to settle all the problems white has around a black move at A or B.
Right. So it's way too early for black to think about anything in the center. That stone is just not worth the removal of the agi from white there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not that it's way too early, but it's just more. They would prefer to try and force white to invest a turn there so
Hmm.
that they can get Sente.
I see. So the power of that extra move.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bigger than the extra value of the Hane.
Okay.
Um,
So it looks like white doesn't want to fix. White wants to play somewhere else. It's thinking very hard here.
yeah, it would be painful for white to add a turn there, I would say.
So you already showed the variations how white can treat those stones in the top right with the ko, and is white thinking about adding a stone to the bottom corner?
Yeah, I mean, I would think um, moves at C or D are quite plausible. Um, he is quite plausible. Um, the AI shape to continue in this bottom corner is at F is often appealing. Um, the basic idea with F is that if black answers it with a slide at G, it's a bit submissive for black, but the kick next at G3 will be painful to allow. So there's not a move at F reduces the potential influence of that black position.
I see.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so they're both trying really hard to get Sente here.
Hmm. Okay.
And we can see that Katago didn't like this push.
Hmm. Oh, we have excitement has started. We have a crosscut. This is great. I remember Myungwon Kim saying he counted games based on how many crosscuts they happen. The more crosscuts there are, the more excited he was. It's like you get a
Oh,
4
yes.
crosscut game, and now we're in for some real excitement. So we got one so far. Let's
Well,
get 3 more.
Yeah, I don't know whether to count this as a real crosscut yet. It's
Okay.
not necessarily that white is going to try and develop a group with that stone.
Hmm.
Uh, to me, to really count as a crosscut, you have to build the 4 groups going out.
I see. So it's not a real commitment just yet. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, yeah. So this is Alex's first test, or not? Sorry, I would call this Eric's first test. So we can see uh, this cut is what Katago is recommending, and I would find this very difficult to deal with as white.
Hmm.
I don't know what Eric has in mind for this, but um, if there is stuff at the top here, so if we look at this sort of thing, white has captured some stones at this point.
Hmm.
So this agi is threatening for black still, but it may well be that in a lot of variations, this white move is not forcing anymore. Even if black allows a cut here, uh, I'm I, I'm not saying black will play like this, but um, this is why Katago wanted to probe at that weakness a bit earlier,
Hmm.
because um, things have heated up so much in the center now. At least if Alex chooses this cut, that there a lot of things that were forcing earlier are no longer forcing, and so yeah, let's see what. Uh, so yeah, this is maybe a sign of Alex's style. He didn't choose the more aggressive cut at the E13 that would be the AI recommendation. This looks like a more stable variation.
Hmm.
And it, even though this loses a point or two, so now the game is back to even according to AI. I think this is a fine choice for Alex. Um, I think Eric will have a difficult time winning a game that goes into an end game contest.
Okay. Do you think
Um,
Alex knows that he can push us to the end game and just try and keep it even till then?
well, it's really hard to distinguish since that's his preferred style anyway.
Ah, okay. Well, then it's irrelevant.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he had all sorts of choices the last week to start battles like this, and he's very consistently chosen not to.
Hmm.
So maybe he'll do that if he judges the game becomes unfavorable for him. But in an even game, he very much, if he can see a balanced variation, he will choose it.
Okay. So he's gonna use his patience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So Eric's pulling these two stones out,
Yeah.
and that.
And we can see that fundamentally, Katago thinks that's too much.
Hmm.
So you can see my Lucy now.
Yeah.
So it just wants White to defend one of these weaknesses. And then later, white can think about doing something with these stones. But the board gets a bit busy when you have, if black plays this one and there are 3 groups on the board now,
Yeah.
it looks like black's position is just stronger. Now, yeah, I would have been surprised if Eric didn't play that move. It's not his style to give up 2 stones like that.
Right. Okay.
He goes for it all.
This type of move that Katago is recommending. It's one that's so hard to play. Just this very patient.
Yeah.
And you've already put those 2 stones down. He wants to save them naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see that it's a little bit hard for black to decide how to continue. So this will probably capture them, but then this is too nice for white. But Katago is suggesting black will try for the more efficient move, but then these white stones still get to take action.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, so you can get enough from the agi of those 2 stones to be fine.
But Katago is still recommending the cut here.
But yeah. Oh.
Okay.
What's going on here? Okay. This is still where the game is. I press the forward arrow and it goes to the next move in the variation we put on earlier.
Right. Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure what I would do as black here. It's
Well, what obvious things come to mind? Connecting at A. So what if black connects and white connects and black plays some surrounding move? I don't. I mean, is white going to try and build a living group here? It's probably possible.
It looks scary. I would want to read that all out.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're thinking for sure.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
So I would say at this point, I wouldn't be considering anything other than A. That move just emphasizes that cut at A too much.
Right.
So this, of course, is very tempting to make black's shape bad, but yeah, I don't think I would choose anything else, but Eric is very flexible with making trades. So Eric did choose the peaceful route here of fixing his cut, and now he's going for this agi at the top.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he's got a well read out plan to build a stable group there. It's also possible he'll come through around A and let black capture 3 stones on a small scale.
he captures those 3 stones on a small scale, will white get enough?
If there's a clean connection back to the 3 stones, I would say yes.
Okay.
The problem is if you leave a weak shape around N16 area, then it doesn't work so well.
Right.
So just as an example, if we got this sort of thing, I suspect this is okay for white. But having said that, I can't imagine this would be Eric's choice. He will want something more aggressive.
Okay. So
Let's
those
see.
2 stones, when you played that variation, had those 2 stones sort of already got their value by reducing black? Because it's hard to see how to use them after the fact, I guess.
Yeah, that's, yeah, we can see here. So on my Lizzie here, let's look at what white thinks of this sort of variation. This has black leading by 2 points or 2.5 points. So currently it's showing black is leading by about a point or a point and a half. As we can see, as the playouts go up, it's deciding that white playing at the top is less wise. It's reading more deeply and saying, this is a tougher fight than I might have judged from my first feeling.
Right.
And I think it's pretty likely the reducing shoulder hit is going to become the blue move at some point here. Well, extending at the top to produce agi is probably good. The current.
Hey guys, Devin here, real quick, just with some kind of comments communicating through chat. One, we had a request potentially if to turn off the kind of AI territory evaluation. I think some people might have trouble seeing some of the variations with the territory eval on, but it looks fine to me. The preference, if you're able to turn that off easily, might be good, but seems fine either way. The other question in chat that I saw a while back, which I personally am actually very interested in, was future NAGF plans. Do you guys think that generally you'll do like a pro each year kind of thing, or do we have any idea of what the future for that looks like?
Yeah, so I think the intention is a pro a year, but each year there's going to be some sort of review of the quality of the field we think we're getting, and we certainly don't want to be certifying unqualified players. So, yeah, our intention is a pro of a year, but it's maybe an 80% scenario, depending on our evaluation of the state of the world.
Yeah, I like that answer. I think obviously quality over quantity is important in this situation. We're kind of creating a pro system, and we want to be known for having strong pros. So, yeah, letting a year or two to catch up for the field to increase its strength is always good. And then it looks like Oddness in the chat kind of giving some, if you wanted to turn off the eval, it would be under the view setting, and maybe or a checkbox on the bottom of the screen.
Sure.
Great. Awesome. All right. Sorry to jump in and disturb you guys, but yeah, just had a.
No, thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. All right.
Okay. Yeah. At a bigger picture level, I would say the two focuses of the NAGF are getting the pro system, pro qualifying running consistently. And the second effort is to try and get more activities for the pros to participate in. So the looking towards a pro competition is the other main strand of our efforts at the moment.
Yeah, we do have also the pro promotion system. So the pros can earn points from certain matches, and based on those points, they get promoted.
Yes. Hopefully, there will be more of the Asian tournaments running and with international participation in
Mm-hmm.
to give them opportunities for points.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to send them to these tournaments and have them go win some games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see about what's been happening in the game here. Well, I got a little distracted. Yeah. As you can see, Eric's not letting go of anything. This is all out brawling.
Okay.
And it looks difficult to me, but so far the AI doesn't think this has changed Black's very slight lead at all. But often when you see that, it's telling you the AI is thinking, okay, Black connects, and then White plays some sort of sacrifice strategy.
I see.
This is just an example, but the AI will score stays the same as long as your sacrifice options remain active, even though that's clearly not what as a human you're intending to do.
Right. Yeah.
But so I very much doubt that Eric is planning to let the 4 stones go. Let's look at this.
So what's Black thinking here? You showed the very basic connect.
I suspect they're thinking they want to make a group.
Okay.
Let's see. So AI gets very flexible in this type of position. So it's showing sequences like here where we wind up having some sort of a race with the corner. So it's difficult for Black to. These stones also have liberty problems. So Black has to be really careful here. So effectively, White needs to try and come up with some sequence that combines the threats against the A, B, and C group. And that's not so easy, but Eric's been very impressive at doing that so far this week. So I'm quite curious to see what he can come up with here.
Okay. Pulling a rabbit out of a hat with no hat. That is a good trick.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice feeling Sente to play in the center anyway, even if the hard problem is still to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good test for both of them. This is very difficult fighting, and handling this sort of situation is this sort of strength you want to see in a pro candidate.
Right.
So
you mentioned Alex is a very
yeah.
patient player. How do you think he likes this fight as it's developing?
Sorry, your sound was breaking up for a second. Could you repeat that?
I was just wondering. So you mentioned Alex is a patient player, and he likes to bring it to the end game. Does he
Yeah,
also feel comfortable in these fights?
yeah, yeah. I mean, to to judge correctly which results are adequate for you and not lose points when opponents are challenging you to difficult fights, you
Mm.
have to have pretty strong fighting skills hiding under the hood there to make that work. So I think if there's not an even result from some compromise, he will fight strongly.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm interested to see him do that.
Okay. But you think if he could compromise and it was even, that's probably stylistically what he would choose.
Correct.
Okay.
And all Go players make adjustments. If he played a game or two like that and lost, he might play more aggressively in his next game. But at least in the first game of the match, I think this is his normal preference will apply.
Okay.
Yeah, normally I'd say this fight is likely to decide the game, but I've watched so many wild swings in Eric's games this week. It doesn't seem so likely. But
So what is the AI recommending now?
well, let's go back and look a bit. So, interesting. So let's see the AI sequence here. It's something very similar to what I showed, actually.
Mm.
Yeah, so its first thought is to play either this one or this one, but it's been grinding away with more playouts in the background while we're talking here, and what it's coming up with is that um, the fights at the top don't wind up working out so well for white.
Mm.
So damaging the black corner here is the best result white has available. But I don't think Eric will do that. So
Okay.
let's see. Yeah, I try these sorts of positions. I tend to fall apart. They're so difficult.
And the main challenge being the judgment of the value of each of the results.
That and there's a lot of tricky life and death in trying to make those four stones into some form of living group or capturing race with the corner or Seki with the corner or
Right. So
yeah.
there's just a lot of branches.
There's a lot of branches and they're really hard. Each of them is hard to evaluate.
And it's not one of those situations where you don't know what to do and you just tanuki. That would not be a good choice.
It doesn't seem white has raised the temperature here by investing the extra stones.
Okay.
So it looks like black can be efficient enough by adding a move at this point to be happy. But we can check that with Katago. So let's say if we choose this one, and yeah, the obvious reinforcement move for black is here. That would be my first thought. And this is losing 2 or 3 points. So the temperature at the top has heated it up enough. It's 2 or 3 points or 3 or 4 points better than a big Fuseki point. so it won't lose you the game to back off even at this point, but it's it's not the best choice.
Okay.
But you very easily could lose the game if you try for something like this, and this, and then you die.
And it'll be a short game.
Yes. So if we So if black just Ataris here, you'd be giving up the eye here. But if black cuts on this side, maybe there's something. White may be able to make eye shape with this sort of sequence by winning the ko and sente.
Okay.
Yeah. So Eric chose the H17 choice. They're similar ideas, but it's the fine details of the variations here that will matter.
And Alex responded very quickly, so clearly he knew what to do already.
Well, that feels necessary. I mean, even you got this thing when white defends here. The corner needs a move, and white looks almost alive at the top. So F18 looks like a serious vital point.
Okay. I don't know. That looks like that's a nice capture in the middle. I feel pretty happy. But of course, white linked.
Yeah, but if the corner has to play moves to live, it's painful. So we might see this idea. Black would like to threaten this sort of vital point, but it's not clear how well that's working. I don't know. It's a little. I think something like this is a bit submissive. The life and death, is still not super clear.
And then, assuming white does live, black gets sente on the outside.
Yeah, I don't think that sente on the outside is particularly satisfactory for black now, but this doesn't look alive to me. I wonder maybe something like this. Black cannot cut. So where do can white make a life at the top there? It still looks difficult.
I'm certainly not comfortable living up there. It looks really hard.
Yeah. I kind of feel white is going to have to M16. Anything else is going to be too constrained. But let's see what our Catago comes up with. So we had this one, this one, this one. And it still wants to sacrifice with the deep through. And
it's still pretty even if he sacrifices, or black's got a somewhat of
black's a half point ahead. That's an irrelevancy even at this level.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting that he's added so many stones and it's still okay to sacrifice.
Yeah, so Catago is saying this is a more efficient shape to defend. It gives white a little less room to make trouble. Often this is a poorer shape, but not always. So, and when I was reviewing Kevin's game from this morning with Alex, I found, I don't know, 5 or 6 1 to 2.5 point mistakes from Alex, and that's all there was to lose that game with Kevin. And they're this sort of moves that were just slightly soft. They're pretty good moves, but not quite the best move. And as someone at Kevin's level that can win a game with that, I don't kind of feel like Ryan's the only other one in North America who can do that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What was the point difference on the move Alex played versus the recommended one?
So you can currently 0.9.
Okay.
So 9/10 of a point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to the game. Yeah. I had a feeling Eric will be choosing a move like this that's kind of all in.
Okay.
So
if he does live,
maybe if
even, and if he doesn't
black
live,
defends like this, we may get a ko. This looks like ko to me. Yeah. So this is normally bad shape, butting your head against the stones like this. But it does give white's stones of liberty problems also. So it looks tempting to me. Let's see what our superhuman assistant thinks of it. Oh, sorry. What did yeah, so Alex played the obvious answer. Yeah. So we can see here Catago's first feeling is that this is too much for white.
Right.
That let's see what the variation it thinks will happen here. Yeah, and it is expecting this ko at the top. Yeah. So I agree. That's what my first feeling was, and it's nice to occasionally be right on that. And Alex has chosen that move in the game. So it looks like we're coming for another exciting ko, which Eric's games have featured an awful lot of this tournament. So if we look at it just for a sec here, probably white has 2 local threats around A and B.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there'll be another one around A, 2 or 3. And maybe a threat at C.
Yeah.
I don't know. So let's look at if we look forward at the Catago variation a bit. 1, 2. Yeah, so white is kind of showing as all in here. Like this group has no way out.
Right.
But the problem is that the black groups at A, B, and C start having liberty problems. So white to get something decent from white needs to come up with some effective squeeze to get a decent result. Which I would be very intimidated by trying to do that, but I don't kind of feel like Eric isn't, since he's been doing it all week.
And at this point, has white lost the chance to sacrifice, or can he still do that?
He has lost his chance to sacrifice.
Okay, so it's
well, I mean, the squeeze is kind of a sacrifice. The group is going to die,
right.
But he's lost his sacrifice half. Now it's all in there because there's no more hole around M16 anymore.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, certainly white may tanuki after making a ko, but it's the same thing, that the position at the top has become large enough that black gets an efficient result by allowing white 2 normal moves on the rest of the board and capturing the top. Although, to be honest, I'm not sure what black should play as co-threats. Yeah. Yeah, so eventually we can see that Catago has eventually settled on this diagonal move. And this one actually gets rid of the ko at the top. So maybe it's easier on the regular board. So whichever, if black played this one, after this, we have this sort of thing here. There is no second eye there. It's black avoids the ko with the M18 and the K19 Knights move. instead just letting black have that eye at the top, but getting rid of the eye in the center part. So let's see if Alex comes up with M18. That's not a very obvious move.
My instinct is to play M17. I don't know if it's good, but that's my brain keeps pointing me at that one.
Well, it's not a very good shape because let's say it goes like this. This is definitely ko for the top for the group. You have to start the ko here to take the eye. And white, you've got a lot of ko threats from the kata.
Right.
So I don't think this is good for black. Yeah. So Alex didn't find the M18 attack, although he kind of still has a potential to play it. Oh, all right, let me go back here. So Eric chose this one. Yeah. So, yeah. Katago doesn't think this is working for white. Yeah. Yeah. And indeed, Alex has played the move Katago suggests. So it's hard for white to do anything but other than defend. But then this diagonal move looks pretty obvious, and there's no two eyes there.
Right.
That's just too small a space.
And now black is very strong on the outside too.
Well, they have to worry about this thing. So white has some potential with this. So what do they do if white plays here? That's not so obvious to me. What am I missing?
Can you just push down a D18 instead?
Oh, yes. That's what I'm missing. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, sometimes too many variations here. I think. Or, sorry, not D18, but you could push. No, D8 pushing down at D18 would not work.
Okay.
So if you diagonal here, actually you're in trouble. You can see that white is all of a sudden 22 points ahead. You just collapsed. So you have to exchange this order first, and whatever white plays, they can't get two eyes from this now. Yeah, because there's just these. If white gets this move, all those 7 black stones. Let's go to the other board. So if we go back, I don't know, I'm using the wrong up arrow and down arrow, maybe? Yeah, okay. So if we try and attack immediately, this move kills these stones. There's no saving them. Disaster. So you were suggesting D18, but white just extends here. You can connect, but they have a liberty. What do you do after that?
Seems problematic.
Yeah. So, if we just look a bit at this position a bit, you can see here we just have to squeeze the space here. And what does white do now? For example, if they connect, it's just dead. So there's no more tricky life and death here. This is bread and butter stuff for these guys now.
Right.
Albert's commenting in the OGS game, Eric, try not dying in the first fight. Yeah. Yeah, he has done that most of the games this tournament, so he seems uncomfortable without a dead group on the board.
Well, if that's how he's comfortable, I guess he should keep doing it.
Well, yeah. So if we go back here. Oh, that's horrific. Problem is the 2 arrow keys in different directions mean different things in Catago versus OGS, and as I keep switching programs, my brain fails. Yeah, we can see here 20 points behind now, which is certainly significant, but he has 3 or 4 20-point comebacks to a notch on his belt so far this week.
Okay, so what's with the stat group? What is white thinking? How does he create complications or find a way back in?
Yeah, I kind of feel he's got a pincer around A. Try and get. This is the only unsettled. Well, the center block groups is not settled, but they as long as those white group are dead, they just have to maintain enough liberties.
Right.
But there's no direct sequence to squeeze the center. So I would be playing around A and hope that, if you get some moves around B and C, the center can all of a sudden get into trouble. So the other possibility, black can be very confident of their lead and can play some soft moves which let you get back into it. So
I've done that one many times.
Yeah. If you try and pressure things and they just play to live, you may get 5 points here, 5 points there, and all of a sudden the game becomes competitive again. It can be tricky to manage your emotions in there. You want to choose simple variations, but not too simple that let your opponent back in.
And obviously Eric will be pushing for all the complications. Every move that black hates is what white's gonna play.
Yeah.
Okay, so starting off in the middle there.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I was just wondering. If how much does white need to worry about some weaknesses around A? So you could imagine this is a cut that's available to white. So you can see the point of black's move is to protect the cutting point at A.
Mm-hmm.
It's of course it's nice that it's the 3 black stones on the right side are getting pretty endangered, but that's not what this move at all is about at all. It's all about protecting the weakness at A.
Right.
And now I suspect black will take action to strengthen the center. They don't want the center to get into a capturing race with the top. And if black plays something like this, which looks really yummy, but white plays here, this center group may wind up surrounded.
Right. So where would you play if you were black here? How are you going to help that center out?
Yeah, A, B, C, these sorts of moves all look plausible to me. Maybe choose something really solid like B.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say this is preparation for a clean jump, which has no shape problems.
Mm.
Or black can jump here also. This is also fine shape. Yeah, I don't really see is white is going to cut here, but we all saw the magic Kevin pulled out with this cut, where this move was a double threat. Threatening around A and B, but I don't think there's anything like that here. No, just Atari. The cut doesn't change anything here, so can't be inspired by Kevin's magic in this position. Did you see that game, Nick?
I unfortunately did not.
It's it's worth a look if you one of the preliminary round games and stuff. If you get the chance, it's the final move of the game is that cut.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I can't think of many games where I've won with just like a final Tsuji. A Tsuji so devastating they're like, no,
Yeah.
I cannot play against you anymore.
Yeah. Kevin was already up a good chunk before playing the Tsuji, and then
Okay.
Yeah, his opponent, you're behind by 20 points, and then someone plays this stylish Tsuji against you, and you can't take it anymore. Yeah, I think Black will take the Ko once, but then they'll just back off and connect. Sure. Those dead groups give you lots of Ko threats for all the Kos you want to play. And Eric does like to play a lot of them, so maybe that advantage is worth more for him than for most of us.
I see. Yeah, he just loves Ko fights. So this was all an elaborate plan to make Ko threats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's just take a look with Katago here. So I got this in the wrong order, but this is get these moves on the board. Oh, interesting. Alex is not playing too soft. So interesting. Gotta go just showing the blue move as just taking the stone. Yeah. But basically, if white takes here, the Ko capture has little value when I can't. If the center stones die, so oh yeah, so in this position, if black, white, if white ends the Ko, they've gained, at least 10 points in the corner, plus they've saved the 3 stones that were almost dead. But nevertheless, these 3 stones in the center just settle every potential black weakness.
Right.
And the capture at the top is just big enough that black leads comfortably.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can see here that Katago is suggesting to go down and pincer the bottom as the most active way after this Ko battle ends, but it doesn't hold out much hope for it. Black is 25 points ahead.
But it doesn't look like that happened in the game. Looks like White's running
No.
out.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. So, yeah. These moves locally. So, if the problem is White's stones are looking to be on low value points here. So Black's getting this wall. Sorry. There's this wall here which is facing this big potential open space, whereas White is running out in this direction, which looks to be mostly Dame, because these two black stones sticking out into it neutralize all the potential there. So, yeah, it doesn't look promising for Eric to play this way.
Is he trying to start some sort of big semi-eye on the top, like work towards that? Is he
Yeah, so let's look at the liberties here for White. So if we imagine White plays here, Black plays here, White plays here, Black plays here. Now the liberties, we have 1, 2, 3, and when on the play of the third one, White will take, so there's 2 more inside. So White only has 5 liberties here. That's not a lot to try and
right?
fight a capturing race. Once Black has extended out with these triangle stones, they've got enough liberties, which I'm sure Alex has read, that you won't even get any centes by forcing. Maybe you'll be able to make Black take them off at the end of the game. But the advantage in the direction of play here, where Black is getting this valuable wall and White is getting very little, is not comparable. Yeah. Yeah. So you can see this game. Alex is continuing to push Eric into this low value area.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. So I suspect Black will just play a knight's move at A and force White to add a move at B. Yeah. And White wants to cry. All these stones, where am I going to get any points for them for?
It
Like,
does feel that way. Yeah,
yeah.
I kind of want to cry.
Yeah, yeah. 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 Still. Is this so I worry about right now there's this sort of thing. These white stones are a little dangerous or a lot dangerous.
But surely he has to try something. He can't if he just connects. How can he win it? This seems like at least a strategy here.
Well,
I don't know how he's getting out of it, but
oh, okay. Yeah, Alex did play that move. Yeah, yeah. Well, but okay, you took some points at the bottom, but um, your group is going to suffer in Sente no matter what now.
even if he lives, he still lost those points up there. But
Yeah, yeah. That is the game sequence. Yeah, it just that those moves cry out to be played, and I don't know. Are you I mean, some of these things you're going to try this sort of last ditch, try and see if Alex will choose to play this co with you.
Right.
They don't look very plausible. Yeah, so if I were black, I think I might just allow white to go home here on this painful second line. It eliminates any of the cross-cut agi around A. That's perfectly connected now. But yeah, something more severe is also really tempting. Alex is not letting Eric back into this one. So I think the sequence he will play is this if Eric just connects. There's at least a co-connection for white here. Sorry, not that one. Well, maybe that does connect though. No, sorry. So this, I don't think Eric can play this way, but there's that code to connect available. It's just you're risking all of the groups here. If black wins the the corner part dies with another move. So, just hard to find moves. When you get behind, you're trying to make complications, but then you wind up finding yourself having to play really difficult moves.
Doesn't really seem like black has any weak groups to pressure. That would you'd at least like.
No, that's right.
There have been an impressive amount of Go puns in the chat. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen this many.
Maybe something like a counter attach here. That's right. This is very difficult. I don't see a good sequence for white. And oh, they played some moves. Let's look at this, what white came up with. Yeah, so the cut as you might expect.
Mm-hmm.
And now, so black would really like to be able to get these moves in before connecting their stones. Eliminate the center eye, but I think they won't be able to do that. So what happens with this cutting sequence? Black cuts and white pushes out here. Yeah, So white doesn't really have a continuation here. Oh, sorry. So when white saves here, black just wins the capturing race. So I guess black can. If we go back here, this one, maybe not, because white might choose this ko. I think Eric will grab any ko he can, but at least black can start this way. At this point, it doesn't gain white anything to start the ko. Is there a cutting issue on the outside here? There is a potential problem here for black. So actually, maybe black won't want to play that Atari because a white stone at A looks like Sente threatening a ko at B. In which case, maybe that after all, it's better to just connect because exchange white's not going to play there immediately anyway, and if you exchange the triangle stones, your A stone loses some of its effectiveness.
Is there any way that white group on the top gets into trouble? The
white group, so let's see. It's a good question. So if this is kind of in trouble if you imagine black connecting, but there are forcing moves here, so black won't have time to do this sort of thing. So if we imagine black connecting here, and this one is also Sente, and now white can get a second eye around here.
I see.
So I think white is just strong enough to be able to get either an eye at A or the capture at B.
Okay.
But yeah, it's certainly something to keep an eye on. If, for example, there's a squeeze and the stones at the top get taken off, all of these forcing moves around C and D and E and F, they all matter a lot.
Right.
And so, what does white do now? I don't see a sequence for white. If white plays at A, if black were to Atari, then white can make a ko shape to connect at either A or B. But black won't do that. Black will just come out here. And they're happy to just go all day. They will never play Atari.
Play the power triangle.
Yeah. So so with this one, maybe white is thinking if they can, just say for a sec, there's 2 Sentes here that they can do. They can then live this group. So are there 2 Sentes? I can't really see a way to do that either. Yeah. So Eric was sort of loosely hoping that the threat of this cut was going to force White to protect, to give them time to come back and take that second eye. But of course, well, White has a Sente here, so White can cut now. But how many? Well, you know, even one more push, I think. And I don't see anything viable here. So White has 7 liberties or so in the center, but which black group are you going to get down to 7 liberties?
Does look very difficult.
Okay, so I think Eric is, Alex is pointing out this Atari is not Sente now. So something like just live here, and where does White go? Yeah, I can't see any continuation. Yeah. So Eric is definitely his only hope is to somehow make the A-B cut work and pull out some liberty problem with the center, or yeah.
We'll see. Will he pull a rabbit out of the hat with no hat again?
Yeah. I don't think so, but yeah, I would never have believed a couple of the other games he's managed this week. So he's asking, is it really not Sente for me to Atari there? Anyway, White has to save those 2 stones, otherwise Black's potential weak group in the center has no issue. So okay. So White has to try and do something with the top group. So what's the liberties of this top group? So this looks like 10 liberties to me.
Yeah.
So we counted White as having 7 at the top previously, and I think they've lost 1.
Wasn't it 5 on the other side though at the top group?
So, which one is 5? Sorry,
I
you
thought
mean
that
the white one is 5?
yeah, the top. That's what I thought we counted before with the top one. If you can still,
Oh, yes, yeah. Well, whether it's 5 or 7, and when
it doesn't matter much.
it doesn't matter. It's not 10. Yeah. I mean, so if we have, I'm sure Eric's going to pull everything out. So there's this sort of stuff. So we have to take here. We have to take here. All of these are sort of white sente. Otherwise, there's a connection potential on the side, but yeah, it's just not that useful. Let's see what's happening in the game. Yeah, yeah. I can see Eric's gonna pull out these every potential squeeze of the liberties and see if something happens. But the problem with this sequence is become a loose ladder. So earlier on, that wasn't so clear. So if white had escaped now, black cannot block here because this is going to capture. But once Eric chose to make the exchange here, he actually got eliminated his ability to pull out the stone at K10.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, we have confirmation.
Yeah.
Eric resigns. It was expected. Very unfortunate, of course. But some people are saying in the chat and agree. Obviously, he's probably pretty tired, but I'm sure they're both tired. I mean, this is what it means to be playing at the pro level. A lot of games, a lot of hard thinking, a lot of tough opponents. So yeah. But any final remarks from you guys?
Yeah, just maybe Eric will be a bit more cautious tomorrow. He's seen how powerful Alex is, and he's choosing extremely aggressive variations. And I think he's going to have to temper that just a touch if he wants to find a chance to win against Alex.
Right. Nick, your thoughts?
Just what the chat was saying, like endurance is tough, right? It's not just your ability to read out a great sequence once. You have to do it over and over and over again all day long. Being a pro is hard work.
100%. Well, great game from these guys today. We'll have another one tomorrow morning for sure, and then a potential third game if Eric can pull out a win. But either way, people can tune in tomorrow morning, and thank James and Nick for coming on and kind of going on this journey with us. I mean, really grateful. So thank you guys so much.
Great. Well, thanks a lot.
Pleasure for Devin. Glad you had us.